This week on the Digital Marketing Scoop, we're talking with Naira Perez about LinkedIn ads. Naira, you're very welcome to the podcast.
Thank you so much. Very happy to be here.
Brilliant. So tell us a bit about yourself and what you do.
So I actually come originally from Canary Islands in Spain, but I live in the US, and I'm the founder of Spring Hill Digital, where we specialize in paid media. And we do anything from social paid media, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, to search engine marketing, like Google, Bing, and even native advertising like Taboola. So as long as it's paid media, we do it.
You're there.
And I've always worked in performance marketing. I started in infomercials where you call and you make an order, and back before digital was cool.
QVC style shopping.
So the change to digital, whenever it started to be cool, was a natural fit. And so I've managed accounts that were $40 million a year and accounts that were $10,000 a year. So I find that the most rewarding part is helping small to medium companies where you can actually make a difference and create a real partnership. So that's where we specialize now, in just small to medium companies.
Cool. So in terms of LinkedIn ads, I suppose one thing we often from our side is that the cost of LinkedIn ads in comparison to other pay-per-click platforms is fairly, I would say, very high in comparison. How at the moment are you navigating that?
That's an excellent question, and you're totally right. LinkedIn, it's a very expensive medium where if you make a mistake, it may cost you a lot. However, the secret to LinkedIn ads is their audience. You can be so specific with the audience. The audience is there for a purpose. They're concentrated on a goal. And so if you have relevant content, then this is not a problem. This is actually something that will benefit you. So, I have clients that have very small audiences that have 75,000 people in their audience. So the smaller the audience, the more expensive. But because they're such high quality audience members, then it makes sense for them. Yeah. So, and also the profiles of the people in LinkedIn are mostly accurate. It's not like in Facebook that you pretend to be something else so you don't get targeted, or you created it back when you didn't know what really was going to happen to your data. LinkedIn, they're accurate because it's a professional network. So the quality of lead really is better. And we can be very surgical about who we target. So again, that CPC may be very high at the beginning, but once you nurture it, once you get it down to the cost per acquisition, it actually really works in your favor.
Yeah, I mean, when the particular job descriptions of people within organizations that your business needs to get in front of, and you're putting the right content in front of them. I mean, it's like any pay-per-click, I suppose. It just comes down to your return on ad spend at the end of the day. So if the click happens to be more expensive, it doesn't really matter as long as that return is there.
Yeah, and it just proves just that little bit more of an incentive to really have a strategy in place. Maybe actually the cost per click is one of those good things where you can go, right, we really need a strategy because otherwise it's just going to go haywire.
Yeah, you just need to keep an eye on the ball, right? Like, where do you want to go and what you want to achieve at the end of this customer journey? And also, you can control your costs. Most people don't know that you can start slow. Like if you're new to LinkedIn ads, you can always control your CPCs and see where it gets you. See if you're spending enough of your budget. Let's say, as an example, I have a maximum CPC of $5 or $4, and that's it. I cannot pay more than that. Let's make a good audience. Let's put good content, and let's see if we can get there with that limit. And then once the algorithm has learned, then you can set it free and let the algorithm do its thing. But at the very beginning, you can actually control those costs a little bit more than in other platforms.
Yeah.
Cool. Do you find any of the particular ad types perform better than others? Or is there specific industries you find work very well with specific ad types?
So, yes, actually, that's a great question. So I'm going to tell you, I love sponsored content, which are the newsfeed ads. They are the best balance between cost, conversion, and just quality of lead. But it depends on your goal, right? So if you want to introduce your brand, if you just want to get a lot of impressions and be very inexpensive, your right-hand ads are going to be maybe the solution, where you just introduce it, you just want to be seen. So, but those ads have less space for you to explain your content. Your picture is not as good because it's smaller. So know what you're going to get. Email seems inexpensive because they tell you, oh, it's going to be 35 cents for email or 20 cents for email that you're going to send. But it's %. It doesn't mean that they're going to open it.
Yeah.
And even when they open it, it doesn't mean that they're interested, right? So whenever you calculate that, it's a very, very expensive format. So again, if you have a very, very personalized offer, that it's an invitation, that it really feels like it belongs in your inbox, in somebody's inbox, then email may be actually a good option. But whenever we look at the general sponsored content, it's amazing. You can do a lot with it. You can put video, you can put carousels. And my most favorite is the lead gen forms. That I just love them. So
cool. Yeah, no, I definitely agree with you on InMail, because when you see like the generic InMail ads come in, I mean, literally you don't even look at them. You know, it's just gone. Yeah. But as you say, if it's really customized to you, and there's some bit of a connection that you have with the messaging in them, then I think it can be performed better. But the worst thing I think to do in them is sell. Use it to actually try. If you can use it to help people to get in front of someone, but if you use them to sell straight off the bat, gone. Good luck.
Yeah. But that is actually, I found that is, no matter the format, if you're trying to sell something right away, it's kind of, if you go to a bar and see a person, you're like, wow, I love you, let's get married. And then the next like, no. So I've always considered that selling out of the bad is a bad idea. And especially now, right? In these times where audiences know, like, I have the power. Wait a minute, who are you?
Yeah.
So
that's a good analogy.
And you have to give them something interesting.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I think people, that's a good thing to take away. If you're sitting down writing a LinkedIn message right now, just wonder to yourself, would you say this to this person in real life if they were straight across from you for the first time?
That's actually a good technique, definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe there's stories about love at first sight that happens. I mean, I'm not
sales at first sight.
I'm not discounted love, but
I think that at that stage it's throwing it back to the numbers game. It's like, if I send 1,000 of these, one will stick. So maybe that works for both. I don't know.
We'll try it. We'll try it one day. I'm just gonna go to a bar and propose marriage to somebody.
1,000 people, see how many yeses we can get.
That'll be a great split test experiment. So in terms of, let's say, creating your audiences, would you have any advice for people in that side of things?
To create them?
Yeah.
Yes. Actually, audiences for me are the most important part of advertising. Knowing who you're talking to, knowing what their pain points are. What can you solve for them? How can I make your life easier? And where do your interests lie? So researching them in advance, it seems like a tedious process that has nothing to do with advertising, but it has a lot to do with how successful your ads are going to be. So for LinkedIn in particular, I like to look at groups a lot. I go in any open group that I can get on that it's relevant to my clients' topics. I will go in and see what they're talking about. That's going to suggest a lot of your content for once. And then second, I'm going to see if that group is relevant to target. People that are in groups are really interested about the topic, and they're active in LinkedIn. So not every member that is in a group is active, but if you belong to a group, you're probably more interested in this social platform than not. So that's going to be one part of your audience. And the other part is obviously demographics, like your job title, your company size, and all of that. It's very important. So analyze your own customers as well. Like what are the job titles that make the decision to purchase, that have the power to make the decision? What are the ones that like to just consume content, but don't make the decision, but may influence the decision maker? So those are, and then you offer each audience a different flavor of content. So yeah, do a lot of research. Because whenever you're looking at your ads and your campaigns, I'm actually recommending, which is something that you would probably never hear in digital marketing, look at your CPMs. People like to look at CPCs and CPAs and CTRs, but cost per 1,000 impressions is going to tell you whether your audience is actually the right audience, because the algorithms won't like to serve your ads to people that are not relevant, that are not going to consume your ad. So your CPMs will be much higher. So unless seasonality happens and there is an event that takes your audience, or your audience is too small, those are the two justifiable high CPA moments. If your CPMs are really high for no reason, then look at your audience. You're doing something wrong with your audience. You're targeting them the wrong way. So those are my recommendations. And I know it doesn't get ROI right away to spend 10, 15 hours researching your audience, but it will in the future.
Yeah, it's the long game, really.
Yeah, and you mentioned like pain points there. I think that is a big thing. I mean, if you're using your advertising, your content within them to really hit at the pain points of your specific audience, and you're producing, content that's going to help them solve that, rather than, again, going back to the salesy content, I think that makes a massive, massive difference. It's going to help your engagement as well, and help your conversions long term as well.
Yeah.
So Naira, someone was starting out with LinkedIn ads, I probably more than likely in the B2B space, and they can see there's people on LinkedIn that they want to get in front of. If you had like 3 tips, we'll say, for someone starting out on LinkedIn ads, what would you recommend to them?
My 3 tips will be: research your audience. That shocking. Reserve budget for it, because it's an expensive channel. So we've already talked about it. So be realistic about your budget. On Facebook, you can get a lot done with just $1,000, €1,000, £1,000. It just, you get a lot done. With LinkedIn, you're not going to get as much done. So be very, very specific on your audience and be realistic about your budget. And my third one will be: have a plan to nurture that lead. You're looking at a long game. You're looking at the end goal being a good cost per acquisition. So if you get your content, which I will always recommend to get your content, then make sure that once this person gives you their information, you have a plan for them. You can guide them to the end goal, which is, solve a problem for them. Don't think about it as selling your product. You're solving a problem. So, and to solve the problem, they need your services or they need your product. So from lead capture to acquisition, what's going to happen? That is also a very often overlooked part, because again, there is no ROI directly assigned to it, but that is the most important part, because they lifted their hand. They said, okay, I'm interested enough that I'm giving you my email address. I'm giving you my information. Now, what are we going to do? Are we going to dance or not? So you have to dance with them.
That is a really good point, because we talk about CTR, but and click-through rates, but one thing you don't kind of think about, or a lot of people in our space don't think about, is once that lead happens, what's the conversion rate for once you have their information to that next step in the funnel, whether it's a demo or whatever it might be, or then that next conversion rate until they actually get to client and customer.
Yeah, exactly. Just that often there isn't enough of a relationship between a marketing team and a sales team. Sometimes it's just about marrying those a little bit as well.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Thank you very much for all that. That was fantastic information.
Yeah,
thank you very much. Those were really good questions.
That's good. I said them, but Jen wrote them.
And that's the secret to the digital marketing scoop.
I like your honesty, though. I give you points for that.
Fantastic. That's brilliant, Erin. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Absolutely. Anytime. This was a lot of fun. You guys make a great team.
Cheers. Thank you very much. That has been this week's episode of the Digital Marketing Scoop.